Stop it. Hello, this is a sound test. We're just going to see.
Hey, he's doing a podcast.
We're doing a podcast. We're doing a podcast.
Hello.
Oh, my baby.
What? That's not a duck.
Oh, shit. Oops. Oh, who's this?
This is Omelette.
This is Omelette. Hello, Omelette. How are you? Look, little Omelette. Oh,
The
Omelette.
other ones are named Noodle, Daisy, and Donald.
Oh, he's a good little.
He
Omelette.
might poop on me.
What? I know he will poop on you. What? Why do you call him Omelette?
I don't know.
He's so big.
I can't believe how much they've grown.
Hello, Omelette.
You're scaring him. Okay.
Well, how am I scaring? I'm just putting him to sleep. Look. He's so good. Oh, he's nibbling me. He thinks I'm food. I'm friend.
I think
not
you have
food.
some worms for him.
I'm a friend, not food.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Welcome back.
Great.
Did you
Doesn't seem like
notice?
a whole week's gone past.
I know.
Someone's here last.
Did you notice
What?
that I made you
Oh
a
my
protein shake
gosh.
like I promised?
You did, yeah. Look at
You
this.
do a taste
Can I
test.
do a taste test? Mm.
No. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
It's nice.
It's actually very nice.
And lucky for me there was extra, so
Oh, you got some too, yeah. That's good.
I
Okay.
think my glass is bigger than yours.
Now I've got more volume. Don't worry.
I'm gonna have a taste test too. Cheers. Okay. So,
Right. What are you going to talk about?
well, last week we were speaking about happiness and how happiness was a choice, and I think what seemed fitting was in the case of not choosing happiness, what then happens. And I think that a word that came to mind was suffering. And I think that there's suffering from indecision. So whether you're not choosing happiness or you're not choosing anything, you're just existing and you're kind of being washed by life. And then there's suffering because you've chosen something that doesn't feel right for you. So I think, I think we're going to talk about suffering, and I think what happens, how to get out of suffering when you get into the state where you get stuck and overwhelmed. And I think life can.
But what do you mean by suffering, though?
Well, that's why I'm saying I think there's two types of suffering that I'm talking about, which is suffering from not being able to make a decision and suffering from making a decision that you aren't happy with, that doesn't feel aligned or right for you. And then there's a suffering of being stuck.
What, is that suffering, though? It's just interesting to ask what you mean by suffering. I mean, mental anguish? Is that what you mean?
Mental anguish, anxiety, feeling like you can't move forward, but a part of you wants to, like life, and just general suffering.
Do you suffer?
Yeah, doesn't everyone?
I don't know.
Do you suffer?
I don't think so.
But is suffering not like you get into the state where you feel like, oh, I just need to make a decision, or I just want to move forward, or I just want to do this, and you can't feel like you can't?
But
it's a mental cage.
I know, but I don't know if it's suffering that.
Okay, so what do you call it?
I don't know. It's like indecision. So it's nothing more than that. I can't decide. So then it's like, well, why can't you decide? What's stopping you deciding? And if the answer is, I don't know, then just choose.
Yeah,
so if you're talking about decisions, it's like, well, if you've thought about it and you don't know, it's like, well, just choose one. I mean, well, what's your alternative? To stay vacillating in non-decision and more, I call anguish rather than suffering.
But just the angle that you're coming at from that is that a suffering where you think you feel like you've got power to choose, and you're saying, if you can't make a decision, just choose one and go with it. But I'm saying that there's a suffering that people get into where life is just overwhelming. They're just like burdened by their emotions, they're feeling like they can't move on, then how do you like get out of feeling like you're stuck in a hole?
I think you have to change your perspective. But I mean, to be honest with you, I think that's what you have to do. I mean, it depends where you're coming from, I guess. I mean, this is just my view, but I guess it's where you come from and your view of what is and the reality in which you live. I mean, if you are burdened by, I don't know, the situation that you're in, often I think it's a good idea to think big and to go beyond the things that are limiting you. I mean, even if you think about it, I mean, life is amazing. If you don't think life is amazing, or you don't think, I mean, for example, if you think life is not eternal and you think this is it, that's the end of it, I think that brings a lot of, I think it makes it very difficult because it's like, well, I've only got this life. I better cram everything that I can into it. And, oh my God, if I don't do this, I'm not doing that, and I'm not getting the best experience. And it all becomes almost competitive with yourself about how do I get the best experience. If you come from a different point of view that says, well, I actually think that life's eternal and there's something beyond this life, and I haven't got to rush everything in this life. And I'm just choosing a different path. So if you look down a path and you go, I don't like it, then change the path. You don't have to make it a horrific big decision.
Yeah, but I think for me, there's two words that come to mind when I think of suffering. We forgot to do our intro.
Well, you did.
Quickly.
Your
so
DMC.
Quickly then.
Okay, fine.
No, I told you you weren't allowed to slurp. Okay, are you ready? Do you remember our handshake?
You kind of. Let's just have a go.
There we go.
See, I remembered it for
and
a whole
we're supposed to say, welcome, I'm Gemma, and this is my dad.
John.
Actually, I didn't introduce your name last time.
Good.
Well, now you know. And then you say, what are we doing?
I go, what are we doing?
DMC with Dad. Deep, meaningful conversations with my dad.
Okay, great.
There we go. We got it. We aced it. But going back to our suffering, I think there's two things. This is learned both through the podcasts that I've listened to, reading, and experience, is acceptance and resistance. So I think that a lot of suffering comes from that feeling of resistance, like you want to, but a part of you doesn't, and you're not really you're unsure where you're going or where you want to go. And it's just like, I don't know if it's the resistance of change, the resistance of growth, but there's just this like resistance. And then I think the overcoming of that is the acceptance that what is happening right now is the reality you're facing. And if you can accept that and not be in that.
What?
You just burped.
I did not. Gosh. Thanks for telling the whole world about it.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. No. So, you know what I mean? Like, to overcome suffering is acceptance of your current reality, which then bypasses resistance of accepting it. Because I think a lot of people, they think in accepting their reality, they're making it permanent, or they're making it real for themselves, and they don't want to accept it, but it's actually a stepping stone to moving forward.
Yeah, I think so. And I also think that one thing that's true, it's obvious, is that everything changes. So nothing ever stays the same. I mean, even if it takes, in your world, seemingly a long time, everything will change. I just think that you need to try and find the most positive way to think about things, right? Because being positive about it doesn't mean you don't recognize the situation. It just means I'm more likely to get myself out of this thinking positively than thinking negatively.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people talk about the laws of attraction and things like that, about if you want to get out of a situation, I mean, I just honestly think you need to see the biggest possible picture, because I think what people do is they become narrower and narrower focused on what they think the problem is, the thing that's causing them the anguish. And they actually miss the other opportunities that could actually take them out of that because they're so focused. And I'm going, well, just try and think bigger.
But it's like what you say to me in your morning meditation that you do is you sit on the rock, but then a part of it is like you zoom out and you go like zoom out to the neighborhood, zoom out to the province, zoom out to the country, zoom out to the continent, zoom out to the world, and you're a spaceship looking down on Earth. Like
I'm standing on the moon sometimes, and then I go back into the whole, think about the whole universe. Just think how big it all is. And then I just think that sometimes you need to contextualize where you are. Because sometimes you think that the problem is so, and you go, well, actually, it's not that big a problem. It feels like it.
Yeah.
But in the great scheme of things, it really isn't.
But that's
and if you can free yourself from that anguish and give you some calmness so that you can actually work your way through whatever it is that you're dealing with. And I think we were talking about it the other day. I think that life's it's amazingly you get caught up in the doing of things in life. So it becomes that you're doing everything.
Yeah.
And it's like some wiser people than me say, it's not what you're doing that's important. It's who you're being while you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think people get caught up in doing and not enough in who they're being.
Yeah. But I think that's sometimes a breaking point for someone is when it's like they've stacked too much of doing on top of what they think they should be doing, or the checklist of life that they should achieve, and the timelines or whatever they get caught on, and then it's like, oh wait, it's actually the doing doesn't matter what you do, it just matters who you. It's even like with goals or like achieving things. Again, to the law of attraction, it's like it's about getting the feeling you think that having the thing will give you, and if you can give yourself that emotion before, it will naturally attract to you.
Yes, so you're talking about making it real in your mind before it's really physically real.
Yeah, well, you think of like, okay, so let's just say a random goal, like people want to make lots of money. Okay, what is that goal going to give them? Okay, let's say they're going to feel abundant. Then it's like, okay, well, how can I feel abundant now? Well, then it's like gratitude. I mean, look how many leaves are around you, and look at the love that's around you, or whatever it is. And then you start to use the lens of abundance, and then naturally you find that there is more things around you that are abundant, and a byproduct of that is money. And then it's like it happened, reverse engineered.
Yes, and I think that, I mean, a book that I've really enjoyed, because it's sort of, I think different books talk to different people.
Yeah.
But the book that I really like was Conversations with God. That in it, and I might not be able to replicate it really well, but the gist of it was that often we get the whole thing about manifesting things the wrong way around. We think that, we need the money in order to be happy, right? And it's actually the other way. You've got to create happiness within yourself, right? And you will attract the things that make you happy, as opposed to sitting there. And that's why I was saying, I mean, again, from the last week, happy is a bit of a funny word, but if we just accept that we're using that word at the moment. But I mean, a lot of people need other things outside of themselves to be happy. So when they don't happen, they're not happy. So you're going, well, that means someone else is controlling your happiness other than you, because your happiness is depending on that, or depending on that, or depending on that. So when I say you need to choose to be happy, it's an inward thing that you need to do. So feel good within yourself. And then,
but I think there's a I can't remember who the author was that said this, but it's like the be, do, have instead of the do, be, have. It's like you've got to be who you think that whatever you want is going to give you. Then you need to do the actions aligned with what you want, and then you'll have what it is, not the have, be, do.
Right.
I can't remember which order it is.
Be, do.
I can't, but you know what I mean? Like, you need to be it, not just do it.
Yes.
But yeah, I think an important question that I had was, if there was someone that was asking your advice on, they're stuck, they're in deep suffering, they are, let's just say, closed-minded, their heart's closed off, like, how do they get out of that state of severe suffering?
I mean, I'm not really an expert on that, but I mean, my view is, I guess they presume that they want to. So some people enjoy, and this sounds terrible, but enjoy the drama of it all. Some people stay there because subconsciously they enjoy the drama of the whole thing. I mean, I'm not an expert. I don't know how to advise on that. But all I'm saying is, you've got to want to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there is a certain amount of attraction, the attention that it brings you if you're in suffering, right? And maybe in a way, it's just the way you look at it, isn't it? So you could say, actually, you're not really suffering. I mean, it looks like you are, but you're not. I mean, someone said that it's amazing when you look at the gurus, and you go, God, it looks like you'd be suffering, and they're not suffering at all. Isn't suffering a perception rather than a reality? Especially a lot of mental stuff is.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Don't you think there's like mental cages you find yourself in because you say you want something, but another part of you is seeking comfort from it? So then there's a suffering of one part of you wants it, but another part of you doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's why going inward and having time to meditate and be quiet and quieten your mind I think is a really good thing to do. I mean, I think a lot more people meditate now than ever before.
Yeah.
And I think that's a cool thing.
But I think there's also like social media and the accessibility of information that means if people are in their room stuck and suffering, they can actually find a way to, or they could potentially search and find resources to feel better or to know more about what they're feeling inside. Whereas I think previously it was like if someone was suffering in their room alone, they were suffering in their room alone. Whereas now there's like this whole accessibility to information.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, and it's like, I just think human connection is a really important thing. So I mean, when you say sitting in a room on your own, I'm not sure that's the best thing for any human to sit in the room on their own. Maybe some people like doing that, but and I think the amount of interaction that you have with other people is an individual thing. Some people need more, some people need less. But
I think the perspective thing is really interesting because it's so true how you can be in a situation and you think you've got no choice or you think it's like this horrible thing and then someone says something to you and you're like, oh, wow.
Well, yeah, exactly. And if you think about it, it's amazing how your view on the world is really in your head. So what I mean by that is if you look out this window and you go, there's a tree, right? Now, you'll agree that there's a tree there, but how you feel about that whole picture and how I feel about that whole picture is in my head and it's in your head. So you could look at that picture and go, oh, no, it's terrible. It reminds me of this, or there's suffering involved in that. And I look at it and go, oh, that's amazing. Look at the leaves. It's the reality of my world and the reality of your world could be totally different. I mean, our perceived reality. Because, someone once said that perception is reality, and I think it's really true. It's like, if you perceive the world that way, the world is bad.
And
if
you
perceive the world as good, exactly. I look to see, I think the world's a great place, right? It doesn't mean to say there aren't bad things happening in it, but overall I think it's an amazing place.
And it's at least an umbrella, thing framework to work from. It's like my perception or the lens through which I see life is that life is great. And then it's majority of the time you're focusing on where life is great. And obviously you'll see the harshness of life, which is natural.
But I mean, isn't it like people go, people say, yeah, but that was really tough, but it was a great experience. Overall, it was a positive experience. It took me on further in my journey. It looks like you're suffering, but if you've got the right perspective on it and you can view it in the right way, you can use it as a positive experience,
but I
and you
think
come out of it in a positive way.
so that's exactly like almost a way of dealing with suffering is to think, okay, when I get like over this, what will I be grateful for while I'm here? Or like, what will I look back on and
But I
appreciate?
mean, it's almost like, what tools could you have? But it's like, this will pass. Whatever happens, this will pass, right? So now, who do I want to be in this situation? And you go, well, I don't want to be the person that crawls up in the corner and can't move, and because I don't want to be that, right? Okay, well, don't be that then. So what do you choose to be?
But I think you made a really important point, is wanting it. Because I think sometimes you get so used to your circumstances that it almost becomes comfortable.
Yes, exactly.
And you just revert back to it, not because you necessarily want it, but because you don't want anything else more. And then but if you've got a deep desire.
But I mean, that's why, I mean, Joe Dispenza talks a lot about being trapped in in the past, because a lot of things just get automatically done. And I think, I personally think in life, it's always a balance. It's not one or the other. Yeah. So I'm going, I think you can put up routines in your life that you're really on automatic pilot. Get up the same way, do teeth the same way, go to work the same way. And and people will experience that. They go, how did I get to work? Yeah. I don't remember going there, and you're on autopilot. Or
if you're going somewhere and then you're supposed to be going somewhere else, and then you land up and you've just driven to work.
Yes, because
that's not where I was supposed to be going. I was actually.
Yeah, exactly. So you're autopilot. So you go, well, that's not great. So if you get stuck in a life and you're living on autopilot, well, what's going to change it?
But also, what do you choose to put on autopilot? So for you, your perception of life, I choose to be happy. If that's your autopilot, then that's what you revert to.
Yes.
And then, but some people, if their autopilot is, I'm always stressed, I'm always anxious, I'm always whatever it is, then that becomes just like
the norm.
And it's like.
And you get trapped in your predictable past, as Joe Dispenza says, right? Instead of creating a new. But the balance I was talking about is like, for example, having routine is not a bad thing. Because it's like, well, I'm going to apply that routine to my training. So it's not, I don't battle with it every morning, right? I just do it. It's part of my routine. Just get up and do it, right? Because I know it's good for me and things like that. But there's a big part of my day which isn't planned out, that is, conscious and moving forward in a direction. So I think balance is really important.
Joe Dispenza's teachings are really profound. Like, one of my favorite things that he says is, your personality is your personal reality, and if you want to change your personal reality, you got to change your personality. And when I first heard it, I was like, changing your personality, like, that doesn't seem. But if you think about it, it's a combination of what you think, feel, and act, and it's like you can change all of those. So of course you can.
But you see, the thing is, when we talked a few minutes ago about the realities in your head, your realities. That's why I say you can change everything instantly, because it's a perception change. It might not be a physical change, but I mean, if you look out the picture in the window and you look at it, I'm not going to physically change the physical stuff, but the way I look at it, interpretation of it, I can do it instantly. So if you develop that ability to do that. But you've got to catch yourself, because it's almost like you get caught up in the world and in the doing of everything, right? And you forget. And you go, hold on a minute. And that's why, again, meditation for me is really cool, that you have a quiet time in the day and you can reset yourself and go, let me hold on. I'm going down that direction. Let me just stand back. Oh, yeah, that's not helpful. Let me just reframe it or review it in a different way.
But I think awareness is actually one of the tools that you were speaking of, because I don't think that everyone always understands that they can, like, you aren't your thoughts, you are the listener of your thoughts. Your thoughts are, not you aren't your thoughts, is one of the most freeing things that I learned, because it's just awareness of your thoughts. I mean, they gave this analogy where they said, okay, pretend you're holding a lemon in your hand, and like squeeze the lemon and smell the lemon. And I promise you, when I did it, I could smell the lemon. And then they were like, but you're not holding a lemon. Like, that's your mind has created that.
Yes, that's
and it's
exactly
not
right.
reality. That's not reality, but
Yeah.
you've made it true for yourself.
Exactly. That's exactly what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So when you go through life, you really have to check that the way you're seeing it is the way it is. And the truth is, it's not even that, because it's like, have you ever looked at a photograph of a holiday photograph, and you look at it and you go, oh, that looks amazing, right? And you think, well, actually, I was there, and it was freezing cold. It doesn't look that in the picture, and I was rushing, crazy, kind of, it's terrible, right?
But in the
photo, it looks. So it's your mind puts that into the photo.
Yeah, that's so true.
And I mean, it's like, but that's fine. I mean, that's what I think. Life's very exciting.
I know, but even just to end off that lemon thing, one of the things they said was, okay, well, after you squeeze the lemon, tell yourself you're gonna let the lemon go.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm thinking, let the lemon go. But no matter how hard I think, let the lemon go, my hand's not moving. Because there's some I don't know what it is between thought and act that sinks it. But like, until I decide I'm going to like actually let go of my hand, it won't let go.
Right.
So it was just such a cool thing. Like, no matter, your thoughts aren't going to impact your actions unless you let them.
Yes.
So you can just hear your thoughts. You can just let them blow away like clouds, whatever the terms are that they use. But it was just like oh wow, like, the suffering doesn't feel so heavy if you know that it's okay. Like you said, this too shall pass.
Yes.
It will go on. We didn't do last week as well. We didn't do a professional summary of your career. People want to know.
Oh, I'm sure they don't.
They do. Who are you? We know
I'm
you
your
came
father.
from England.
I'm
that's good
father.
to know.
Yeah.
But
I'm responsible to some degree.
I think Mom
had something to do with it. Yeah.
Not you. I was going to say that Mom has you as another kid. It's 3 kids.
I think perception is reality.
Oh, goodness. A time when you had deep suffering in terms of indecision.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely. I mean, it's
what got you out of that suffering.
I think, honestly, reading Conversations with God really helped me at the time. It really did.
What did it bring you?
It was really nice, because it read it as if God was talking to you, right? Because that's the whole premise of the book. The book is Neil Donald Walsh is frustrated with life, and he used to write on a yellow notepad. So he's decided to write to God, and then he explains it that it was weird, but then his hand started to write, and if you read what he wrote, but what he interprets as God coming through him, it's amazing. I mean, I think the wisdom in it is profound. And I was reading, going, "Oh my God, that feels so right. That is how I feel."
It's like that the whole remembering thing, but it's like when you read something that hits some different deep part of you, it's like, oh, I know that to be true. I didn't know how to say it.
Yes, exactly.
But that is exactly it. Mom calls it a compassion break, where you say to yourself, like, you're not the only person to feel this way.
I know. I mean, that's, when we tragically lost JB, right, in the car accident. I mean, one of the things that I felt at the time was, I'm just one in a million or billion fathers over the courses of the eons of time that must have been in this position. Yeah. It's like, it's not unique to me. I mean, the experience is
Did it bring you some solace to know that in a son? I mean, I don't know if that's
look, I mean,
just to lose a son is just...
Yeah, it was hard, and I was right there when he passed. So it was, that was hard. But I mean, again, it's what you choose. I mean, I think that if you go, because one of the things was working. I always felt that you could put something right. Right. So I always felt, if it's something wrong, you've got a chance of putting it right, even if it took time. But when JB passed, there was nothing I could do about that. That's a factual reality. He's not here anymore, right? In a physical presence, and that was hard. And I think that, I think
it's also, I know, like, you had in some cases there's a slight chance of, okay, you can change it by this much, or you can do something to make it better. But in that, it's just complete surrender and acceptance of that current reality that
but I mean,
it's gone.
One of the things that I thought of at the time is, well, you now need to live the belief that you had. Do you know what I mean? So if I was going, oh no, I believe that life is forever and it's like it's not the end at the end of things. That's what I believe. I've chosen to believe that, and that's what I believe, right? And then something like that happens. It's like, well, okay, what's wrong? I mean, yeah, you're going to miss him terribly.
Practice what you preach.
You kind of got you've got a choice, haven't you? You can go, yeah, well, I will, or I won't. But I mean, I chose, and I just think that there's a certain amount of logic to it as well, which is you've got a choice. You can go downhill and you can affect all the family. I mean, lots of families break up when things like this happen, right? And I think the reason that can happen is because everybody has a different way of suffering. So it's not just your personal grief. It's how your wife grieves, and is it different from the way you grieve, or how the children coping with it. I mean, Jamesy lost his brother, you lost your brother, although you were very young at the time. So it's quite a complex.
And it's also that everyone is so, I want to say, consumed by their own grief, and they're going through that process. It's like, you've got to deal with that and then try and be there for a person who's dealing in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was really hard for your mother, because I would wake up with a smile on my face. As you go, I don't know how you can be happy. And I'm going, well, I'm choosing to be happy, and I'm choosing that we're going to get on and live our lives in the best possible way that we can. I mean, because the alternative isn't great, but that's logic. I mean, the alternative is not great. So it's like I'd rather live the best version than the worst version.
Yeah.
And and I think that's well, I mean, I think you choose happiness. It's not because, I mean, I've had a blessed life, really, and it's been amazing. But there's been tragedy in it. Like, I think everybody's life has, to some degree, a tragedy. I was going to say that to you because it's quite interesting, because the degree of suffering, right? You could look at someone and go, they've got nothing to suffer about. Look, they've got all the money in the world. They've got this, they've got that. Why are they? It's not about that. It's their experience, their frame of reference, their degree of I am suffering, right? And you go, okay. Then you look at someone that you would go, he's really or she's really suffering, right? And they go, I'm okay.
But it's like that. Have you heard it says, like, sometimes, I don't know if there was it's a happiness index or something that they measure.
Yes, I have heard of that.
And they were saying that a lot of times in a lot of poor countries, they go in and, okay, this is really probably a minority, but that they found that people with very little were sometimes happier than people with all of this, because they were just grateful for what they had, versus the people with all of this wealth and all of this were always wanting more, and that wanting more caused them suffering.
And it's also keeping what you've got. So some people get trapped into the fact, I think I might lose it all.
Well, it's like when you win the lotto.
Yeah. A lot of people, it doesn't really make
money.
Yeah, and it's I just think that I've seen people that you could just see that they've got a light in their eye, and it's that glow and that light. It's got nothing to do with money or anything. It isn't, and it hasn't got anything to do with it. And that's why I think you should be very careful about judging anything, because you don't know. It's like I think that a negative thing in social media might be is that they put up a picture of someone and you think you know them from that, and you go, well, it might indicate who they are, but you don't really know who they are. You've never had a deep, meaningful conversation with the person.
Never sat in the chair and shared a protein shake.
No, exactly. And never
slow to judge. Yeah.
I think you do.
And I also think often it's like you're quick to judge, and then you find yourself in a similar situation and you're like, oh, flip, like, see you next time.
Week. Hey.
Oh, our handshake is with,
Well, okay. See, I'll get it soon.
Yeah.